All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to say, call on Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rekakwadash, giving great honor and praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, the God of Gods. Much love, um, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, God of Gods. And there is no other gods besides him, besides the ones that he made, which are Yahushai, his only begotten Son. Then you got the angels above, and then you got the angels below, which are the children of Israel. And ain't no other gods that he made. All the other gods are just wood and stone. And yeah, much love to his only begotten Son, Yahushai, the Muhammad Shiach, the light of this world, the one who died for Israel to cover his blood over the children of Israel so that they may come into the new covenant and be forgiven of their sins and be protected when these dark times do come. Much love to this beautiful chosen. Well, the chosen, it is for the chosen. I mean, it's for all Israel if they want to come, but it's mostly for the chosen. Much love to the chosen children of Israel, whoever they may be among the children of Israel. Much love to the Akim, the brothers that's in the Word, and the New Covenant prophets. They do everything in their power to show Yahweh Hashem Yahushua that they love Him and they fear Him. We're giving us a lot of studies, break down precepts, and teach us secrets of the Bible and everything that we need to know for the times that we will be coming in soon. Much love to his only begotten. Much love to the Akwaf, the beautiful women that's in the Word. And whether you got a man or not, you still fear the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh. You listen and you learn in silence. Coming back at you with a part 2 of an episode that I made at Outside. It's called Good Sands. I'm just going to make this a part 2. My phone sucks really bad, so it's hard to keep storage on it, or I got to erase something because it can't keep that. And I hate iPhones. I really do. And then if I want more space, they're going to charge me more, and that's if that's enough space. So I just make my part 2 here at home, and is part of the good sayings and good things that in the Bible to help you navigate in this world, to make life more easier and to have an understanding on just being a good person, a well-rounded person. It does help you, and it does explain a lot of things, that you would want to question and or don't have any understanding. A lot of these precepts and proverbs, they do help. These sayings, they do help. So we can go to the beginning of Proverbs real quick. And always get a reminder of what the Proverbs are, because a lot of them is like sealed. Sometimes they can be sealed to where you just simply can't understand them. So it says we at the beginning of Proverbs chapter 1 verse 1. It says the Proverbs of Solomon, the son of King David, or son of David, king of Israel. It says to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom. It says justice, judgment, and equity, to give produce to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. So whenever Yahweh is responding, he's going to come first to the man, and then he'll put the spirit on the woman. But the man comes first. The man, he put the spirit on the man, and then the man explains everything, and it comes through the man to put the spirit on the woman. There's an order behind all of this. So the Lord won't necessarily come to women first. He'll come to a man first, and then the man explains everything that's going on to the woman, and then the woman gets the spirit. It's just the order of things, So it says, to the young man, knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear and increase learning, and a man of understanding will attain wise counsel. It's here to make you smarter, to make you more knowledgeable and more understanding of the world and the way humans react and the people around you. So it says to understand a proverb in an enigma, which is a mystery. It says the words of the wise and their riddles, because a lot of these precepts be locked. Some of them I don't even understand, but to the ones that I do understand, but some of them I don't. It says, the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. It says, my son, hear the instruction of your father. Do not forsake the law of your mother. The father is Yahweh Shai, and I do believe the mother is referring to Israel. It says, and do not forsake the law of your mother, for they will be graceful ornament on your head and chains about your neck. So we can go ahead and go forward. And we can just get some more of these good sayings. Some of these good sayings is good to know and good to understand. You can also understand that a lot of the stuff that Lord Yahweh has put in place, He doesn't like. But it's meant to be set forth because it's meant for it to be done, meant for things to happen. And that's just the way it is. That's just how it is. It says, this is chapter 11, verse 1. It says, dishonest scales are an abomination to Yahweh, but a just weight are His delight. That's right. He don't like the unfairity. He don't like how you got to go through certain things and everything the odds are stacked against you. He doesn't like that these people that are in charge, they are running things and being cruel to everyone else and everybody else in the world, and taking all the money and, hoarding it all, to the point to where they got so much money, it is no reason to even have that much money, and they can take care of and make things better in the world, but they don't. They allow their wickedness to overcome them and allow wickedness to unbalance the scales right now. We're in a time where, Esau and them is the wicked, and they are doing a lot of wicked, evil things, and they are not they not just in their scaling, they not just in their judgment, they not just in the good and the evil. Even though good and evil do exist, they are part of the perfect balance. We are living in a reality in a time to where evil in the physical world, evil is very, very rampant, very, very free, and it's easier to do something wicked than it is to do something good, and or you get more out of being wicked than you get out of being good, which is not true. But in the eyes of people that don't understand, that's what they see in the world. They see a lot of the wicked getting advantage of. You see a lot of people like, well, if you can't beat them, join them. You do wicked, you do wrong. One example is sodomy. That is a good example. From being straight man to a sodomite man is being a straight man is much harder because you try to keep in order. You are the head of your house. You are the man. You are the original leader. You are the one that's supposed to take charge. If you have a woman and if you have kids, they are supposed to follow you. But in this world, they actually make it seem like it's a bad thing to be a man. It's a bad thing to have charge. It's a bad thing to take charge over a woman. Nowadays, we're living in the days and age to where the women are feeling like they are above the man. They are feeling like because of which is ridiculous, because of their sexual parts and a beauty, that they are better than men. And they are not. But this is what the world is portraying them to be, and I've seen a lot of videos to where a lot of women, aren't doing too good. They don't have no proper guidance. They are mentally very unstable, and it's a lot of women that can't even clear the regular criteria of life simply by having a job, by taking care of yourself, by going to go find a man, you guys being together. And next, if you want to get a career, you get a career. And then on top of that, you make a lot of money, and then you and your man get married, and then you guys have kids after all that is done. You got a lot of women that are doing things that are backwards. They're having a man fall in love with him. The marriage don't come into play. And on top of that, they having kids before they have jobs, before they are having a career, before they are financially stable. So that leads to a crash course of the man leaving and abandoning the relationship and his kids, or maybe not his kids, but abandoning the woman, which is messing up the order on how things are supposed to go. But a lot of women, they're not better off. I see a lot of women in cars. I see a lot of women just deep in corruption. They don't know how to stop indulging in different delights and in different things that are destroying them mentally. And then you got a lot of women that just can't keep a job. You got a lot of women that's just drugged out. You got a lot of women that's working low class jobs with no careers and no going into the middle of nowhere. Why? Because they overindulge and they have too much freedom. Now, as far as I'm concerned, for the man, the sodomite man, is easier for you to make your way in the world if you are joining in what the world delights. They delight in indifference. They delight in things that are to be denied, things that should not belong or are not a part of the orderly design of how Yahweh designed everything. So the more and more you are against those things, the more and more the world take you in. So I have seen a lot of sodomy grow and progress and prosper. More the sodomite man prosper more than the regular man. The sodomite man is prospering and he's making his way. They got these communities. You got a lot of men that are doing sex changes. I don't know where you get that kind of money from. You got a lot of men that are being with men because they realize men treat men better, but at the same time it's an imbalance because challenges are meant to be against you. You are supposed to overcome as a man and to become stronger. But with the reality and the things that we living in and how the environment is extremely more difficult for an average man, you got a lot of these men that are just, can't beat them, join them mentality, just, man, I just give up. Like, it's easier to be one of these females than it is to be a man. So it's like, it's a lot of men that are joining the female side and they just doubling up in their numbers, man. And it makes women feel more, empowered, and on top of that, they are part of the reason why a lot of men are becoming sodomite men, because they feel like they are allowed to have their opinion, they're allowed to have their say, they are allowed to encourage these things. And then they turn around and complain about the sodomite men and about how they are when they pretty much had a good hand in creating these men and making them think that it's okay to encourage feminine ways, to discard their masculinity, and all these certain things. When I was coming into the truth and I was changing. I was kind of like that too. Just being around women a lot, you pick up their ways, and it's no solid, strong man to be there to teach you certain things and to tell you that's not the way, or let me show you a better way. No, a lot of us that come from low class, environments have to deal with a lot of women because there ain't no man that's dominant enough to take charge, nor would they allow them to. So a lot of us do come out of these families to where it's nothing but women, and the women are running everything, and the women are in charge of everything, and it's leading to what it say, dishonest scales and imbalance. An imbalance in things, because of, how the Edomites run things, and they, all these laws and all these leniencies and all these leadways, and they, in turn for more control and money, this is what they allow them to do. So, with that being said, it ain't good. It ain't good. The scales will be rebalanced physically in the physical world. It'll turn back to normal. But as far as I'm concerned, for right now, it's just the way things are. And it was it was how it was prophesied that it would happen. And, it's harder to be a man. It's kind of like they are so hard oppressed against men to the point to where they got men that no longer want marriage, because marriage is a scam. And, the women are constantly talking about, oh, you can get married and then divorce your husband and then take all his money through alimony, or don't try to convince them not to sign the prenup, things like that. Or if they got kids, go get custody of the kids because the kids got money, and child support checks, things like that is destroying a lot of these privileges, is destroying the man's mentality. So guess what? Compared to the older generation, of men that are going through this, and they are constantly, opting out of society. You got this movement called men walking away or whatever, or men no longer participating, or simply men are no longer approaching women. They don't have it anymore. And with social media, the criteria of a man and the expectation of a man is doubled than it would be in reality. If you don't have a lot of rotations of friends, if you're not constantly going out, you're not in these circles, and you just by yourself, it is very difficult, very difficult. And there's a lot of men that are not in these circles, and just average men day to day, going to work, coming home, and that's pretty much it. When you get on social media, you see that the demand of being a man, especially an Israelite man, is extremely high. You got to be buff, you got to have money, you got to have things going for yourself, you got to always update on your social medias, you got to take body pics without your shirt off, you got to be in shape, because nowadays in society, in shape is becoming very rare, in society. Now you got a lot of people that are becoming products of their society, which are obese or overweight people that no longer have to depend on everything else. No, they don't. They no longer got to depend on themselves. They depend on the system. Whether it be providing, whether it be simple transportation. You don't got a lot of people that are really walking nowadays. Everybody is in their cars, or even simple things like walk into the store. You hop into the car, you hop into your car, you drive to the store, and guess what? The store was just pretty much next door, and you just hopped in your car just to slide to the store real quick. Like, everything is being dependent on too much materialism and too many things, so it's leading to a lot of people becoming overweight, a lot of people overeating and indulging in these nasty foods. I'm sorry, this precept is very deep. These nasty foods that are drugged out, that are chemicaled out, designed for you to eat little but gain more weight, compared to the natural foods that Yahweh gave you, that was designed for you to lose your weight and to eat in abundance. You can't, going out to go eat and all of that isn't a bad thing, but if you do it and you indulge in it every day, it can become a bad thing, which leads to a lot of health issues. It leads to a lot of mental issues, and you got a lot of men like that too, that are they don't have the work ethics, they don't have what it takes to change their lives. So guess what? They just get bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point to where they so big they got to go get it surgically removed, or if they don't start working out, they can pass away from these results. And you got a lot of men that are like that are just giving up. I've seen a lot of them that are overweight, a lot of them that are balding. I've seen a lot of them that are just like, stick figures. I used to be a stick figure too, that don't have nothing on them. And the women are very judgmental over that. They are extremely judgmental over that. And a lot of the women are pursuing the same man. Like it says, dishonest scales is in balance to what's going on nowadays. A lot of the women want the Joe six pack. A lot of the women want the rip men, which is only natural. But Yahweh didn't make everybody to be buff. He didn't make everybody to be in shape and to be, the what they would call the top 5%. And it's possible that a lot of people could, but the way the world is going, a lot of people don't work out. A lot of men don't take care of themselves. So when you hop on social media, the numbers and the expectation and the demand is extremely more difficult. It's even so much so to the point to where women, they feel they got the royal treatment, so they feel like they no longer have to approach a man. They no longer have to, what they say nowadays, shoot they shot, ask a man out. And they have even lost that ability to tell a man how they feel, or if they like them or not on the spot, as a good men, or regular men, day-to-day men that are out in the world. They don't have that ability. They just do a lot of strange things, and they do a lot of weird things to where even if you tried to shoot your shot, it wouldn't. They make it look like they want you, and then they don't, even though they do want you. So it's like kind of retarded, kind of childish, and it's due to a lot of the stuff that's going on nowadays. But that's just what it is. A lot of men are changing into sodomy because it's easier. A lot of men are getting married to other men. You got a lot of what do they call it? The femboy movement. The femboy movement is a lot of boys that are feminine boys that are they look like women. A lot of them do. They look like women, and they genital. They didn't get the sex change. And then you got the transitional men that do get the sex change, and they get they privates transformed into women privates, and they join those sides because life is a lot easier. They think that life is a lot easier as a woman, when behind the scenes they did all these chemicals and all of these testosterones and all of these different things actually make them crazy too. You actually pretty crazy to even go through that, or toss aside your masculinity in a world where being a man is needed. Being a man is important. Being a man is very special. And, no, like I said, the power to overcome, no matter how much adversity is set against you, you are supposed to overcome. Remember, for the Israelite man, it is our fault why the world is like this, because we are the leaders. So we have to do everything. And even in a world that we created all of this, it's our fault, and it's our job to overcome. It's our job to make it. It's our job to overpower, to take control back. That is our job. Through the power of Yahweh Shem Shai, of course, but that is the total role of an Israelite man. Now, no, it was to rule. Now it's to overcome what you created, and that's what's happening. But it's not a lot of men that are doing that. It's a lot of Israelite men that are converting to sodomy, and it's not a good look, because they feel like in their minds it's easier to be a woman. And a lot of them do make a lot of money. A lot of them do, whether it be marrying another man that is like that, or selling their bodies, or doing certain things and signing certain things that will, and the only way for them to move up in these certain systems is to sell their bodies, and they make more money off that. They feel like life is more easier like that. But when you discard your masculinity, you discard what makes you special. That's what makes you a man, a strong man. And it don't matter what you look like. It don't matter what you look like. You being a man in this day and age is very important. It's very important. But we're gonna move on. Enough with the first dishonest scales are an abomination to Yahweh, but a just weight is his delight. Balance is delight. The man is ahead of the woman. That's balance. The world and allowing these other nations to prosper, allowing Israel to go back to leadership. That's balance. Israel is no longer, Edomites are no longer in charge, and the Israelites take charge of all the treasuries and everything, and able to balance everything right, so where everybody can take care of themselves. They can eat, discarding all of the engineered food and restoring the original foods that still taste good, if not better than the engineered foods. That's restoring the balance. The night cannot overtake the day anymore. That's restoring the balance. The day and the night are set as speaking in good and evil. It says when pride comes, when Proverbs chapter 11 verse 2, it says when pride comes, then comes shame, but with wisdom is but with the humble is wisdom. That is true. When pride comes, then shame, because a lot of these people that feel like they won't be corrected by Yahweh, a lot of these people that feel like they cannot be dethroned by Yahweh. They feel like they can't be touched. Those things do happen to them. They do happen a lot. What it say? Pride come before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a great fall. The Lord, like I said in my last video while I was outside, Yahweh allows certain people to reach the top just so He can put them back at the bottom. That's how it works. So you got to be careful. A lot of people that are gaining their way in the world, and they treating people like garbage. They just mean people, mean spirited people that enjoy the suffering of others. They forget the qualities that Yahweh had gave them to make them a good person. They don't use those qualities. They just evil, wicked, greedy, and it's all about me. Or in my situation, dealing with family members that get somewhere and then they start to look down on you, and they like, my mom's right, you guys are poor, you guys are bums. Those type of people and those type of mentalities that exist in the world, and how people treat each other. And you can, in my situation, it's my own family that's treating us like we nothing. And Yahweh does see that. He does, and He will deal with certain situations like that. I'm not the only one. There's other people that do go through that, or dealing with your family members that are more prosperous than you are, and that could help, that could step in, but they don't. And they tell you got to go and get it on your own. You got to go do this, you got to do that, when a little help can go a long way. Sometimes people just need help, or they don't know any knowledge about the Bible, so they feel like it's no excuse for anybody, which is kind of true. But at the same time, have a heart, because Yahweh had a heart to put you there, so you don't have a heart to help, anybody. You don't have a heart to help your people that's in need, to take care of them, and not all the time. But when times is needed and the Lord put it on your spirit to help them, help them. Why? Because Yahweh will help you. It's that simple. It says, but with the humble is wisdom. So that's the opposite of that same example, to where a lot of good people that do make it in stature somewhere in the world, that become in a certain level, or Yahweh allowed them to become prosperous. They remember, because they came from such poverty, they came from these extreme environments. They remember how hard it is. They remember, the suffering. They remember everything that they had to go through, all the work that they had to build to get to this point. And especially if you know the Bible, for a lot of good people that know the Bible, they do give back. They do take care of their people. They do give people a chance. They do give out money here and there when they can. They don't turn it down, and they be like, nah, I can't help you. Not all the time, but times where it's called for it, yes, certain people, they will step in. And it says, but with the humble is wisdom. That's right, because they remember where they came from, and they don't forget. Like I was talking about while I was out there on the streets or whatever, doing my little Bible thing, just seeing this kid on the streets, and every time I see kids like that on the streets, it reminds me of me. No, it reminds me of me when I was on the streets and I was begging for change, and I was looking for just a little help, a little bit of anything, when I was drugged out in my days and stuff, so sometimes it do be hard to walk past children like that's out there on the streets trying to make a way, or just trying to get a dollar to even though I don't condone it, but hey, we all came from to get a quick high or something, take their mind off the pressure of the world, all kinds of stuff like that. Even though I no longer do that, and it's going on 6 years that I've even done any drugs, I've been sober. I do understand, a lot of these, when I see people like that, when I see kids like that too, that's just out there, man, that's just trying to get a quick dollar. You want to take their mind off the pressure of the world and all of that, even though it's not right. But, that's just what it is, and I remember that, and I gave the kid, some change, or I do be looking out for people that don't have it like that, because I was there, so, things like that is, that's important to Yahweh, to have those qualities, and to have that understanding and have mercy, because Yahweh got mercy on you. And that makes perfect sense. You know, it says that we in 11, Proverbs 11, verse 3. It says the integrity of the upright will guide them. That's right. But the perversity of the unfaithful will destroy them. The perversity of the unfaithful will destroy them. Yes, it does. All of the all you know, the wicked people that prosper and all of that, they have to pay for that, you know, at some point. All of the evil that they do, and yet they still prosper. At some point, it'll come a time in the day to where Yahweh will make them pay. Regardless, they got to pay for all the wickedness that they do. But I'm just saying, it might not happen on your time. You know, even those of us that be in that position towards like, dang, I wish something bad would happen to this wicked person, these evil people, you know, but don't nothing happen to them. It's just not going to happen on your time. It happens when the Lord is ready to get rid of them, or to dethrone them, or to take them out of power, or to make them go broke. You know, some things like that. It ain't gonna happen on your time. You know, it happens when Yahweh is ready to remove them from these type of positions. Because and I know a lot of us that are in good people, we do get tired. We do get tired of seeing it, man. You get tired of seeing these wicked people just indulging, these wicked people that's just creating all chaos, or, you know, in the world, or even in our own lives, and the people and the family members that we got to deal with. And you just get tired of seeing it. So it says the integrity of the upright will guide them. Being a good person will make you allow you to get your way. That is true. Being a good person will get you an advantage. Being a good person will get you certain things. Being a good person and allowing yourself to endure will allow you to achieve certain things. Yes, that is true. Just by you simply being a good person. What it say? Soft words turn away wrath. Just by you being like, you know what, I don't want no problems. I'm sorry. You know, even if you are capable of defending yourself, you know, just an example, like, you know, somebody coming to threaten you, be like, I don't want no problems. I'm sorry. Hey man, I'm just trying to get by. You know, even wicked people be like, you know, even though they try to be in their pride, like, yeah, I done scared you. Yeah. You know, they move on, you know, when they see the sign of surrender, you know, and in your mind, you don't want to, but this is the way, you know, that you get by. You know, it ain't nothing wrong with that. Just avoiding certain problems is very simple. You know, simple stuff like that. Like it said in the Bible, soft words turn away wrath. Yes, that is true. You know, and just by you being a good person and being a bigger person, you know, it gets you a lot of things. You know, don't be like, don't think that not being a good person don't get you no advantage. It does. You know, it does. And like I said, being a bad person could get you an advantage, but it comes at a price. So it says, riches do not profit in the day of wrath. That's right. When it's time for Yahweh to judge you, no amount of money is going to be able to save you. That is true. That is very true. No amount of money is going to be able to redeem you. You can't pay Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai to extend your life. You can't pay him to spare your life, you know, because of the things that he asked you for and you denied him. That was going to be in a place of your judgment, of judging you. Now you are in the place of judgment and you have to be judged instead of the righteous things, and, you know, things like faith, you know, things like prayers, you know, things like acting, you know, doing kind things, being nice to people, and, you know, like, you know, telling people about Yahweh Shema Shai, simple things, you know, remembering the Lord, you know, read your Bible every now and then, make some videos. Yahweh remembers a lot of these things. The Lord watches a lot of these people, and the Lord have an understanding to them. Even if we're not perfect, the Lord do see us trying to strive to respect him, trying to strive to love him. And Yahweh Shem Shai, and Yahweh willing, in those days, that those of us that do call on Yahweh will have mercy. You know, we will have a pardon, or we will be protected. You know, but not to say for the wicked that rely on materialism to please the Lord. No, the Lord wants spiritualism from you. He doesn't want the materialism. None of that can save you from when it's time for Yahweh to judge you, or it's time for your punishment, you know, or it's time for some sort of affliction or some sort of adversity that money cannot save you from. Yes, that can happen. You know, so not too much on that. It says the righteousness of the blameless will direct his way aright. That's right. Sometimes being an innocent person, being a good person, can keep you out of trouble. Staying out of trouble simply can keep you out of trouble. You know, being a good person, making the right decisions, living your life, you'll have a much easier life. You know, and it makes it better when you're a good person, because nobody can blame you. Nobody can call you out for anything if you didn't do anything. It says, the righteousness of the blameless will direct his way aright. Right, his path is much easier. It says, but the wicked will fall by his own wickedness. That's right. Over time, that can happen. A lot of people, a lot of people are blamed for what they've done, and they actually are to blame for what they do. You know, a lot of the wickedness of the world, a lot of wickedness of people, because people, they can you know, when it's time for you to be judged, you know, or even simple facts, when people catch you and you got people over there blaming you, and people are like I did see him do all of that. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, he is like that. You know, certain examples like that. And, you know, the wicked person tried to deny it, you know, but it's more people that got proof of what they do or who they about than he can deny it. You know, so you got people like that, you know. So it says the righteousness of the upright will deliver them. That's right. Being a good person, you know, in the eyes of Yahweh Shem Shai can get you pardoned. It can keep you staying out of trouble. Yahweh Shem Shai can reward those that stay out of trouble. Reward good people, you know, for doing good. Reward people for like I said, simply just, you know, giving somebody that's less fortunate change, looking out for them, you know, taking care of certain people when Yahweh send them your way. You know, it might not be all the time, but, you know, a lot of these, I see a lot of people doing that, you know, good people, you know, good people taking care of people, and just being a good person all the way. You know, it says, but the unfaithful will be caught by their lust, right? Too much indulgence gets you caught up. Whether it be, and it don't gotta be in just in money, it can be in your behaviors, it can be in your emotions, it can be the things that you do day to day, what you think about day to day. You could be the acts that you carry out, you know, that can get you caught, you know, like a man or a woman cheating on their spouse, and, you know, the woman or whoever they dating happen to kick the door in or come in to them with somebody else, you know. It's just an example, examples like that, you know, and just being caught like that, like simple stuff like that, that can actually happen, or just simple examples like that do happen. They do happen. So it says, but the unfaithful will be caught by their lust. That is true. It says, when a wicked man dies, his expectation will perish, and the hope of the unjust perishes. Right? They have an end. They can only go so far. They got a limit to what they can do. Wickedness got a limit to what it can do. So it says, the righteousness is delivered from trouble. That is true. And it comes to the wicked instead, right? The things that people, you know, the things that the wicked people would hope to do to you actually backfires on them. It does happen. I've seen that happen too, to where people would hope something like that, hope for your downfall. People will would have a desire to destroy you, but Yahweh would allow you to get away, and then for that destruction to come upon them instead of you. It does happen like that. So it says, and it says, the hypocrite with his mouth destroys his neighbor, destroys his brother. That's right. Fake people. Fake people. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of fake people out in this world. There's a lot of fake people. You see them in friend groups, you know, mostly in friend groups, mostly people that other people partner in. You see them in gangs. You know, you even see them among drug addicts and all of that. You see them among average people, a lot of people that play the game, and they just fake toxic people that like to turn people against people, raise up jealousy, start fights, you know, and this is exactly what they do. This is exactly what they indulge in. I see a lot of my people doing that too, indulging in fights, indulging in drama, you know, just conversating, talking about other people. Sometimes it can be a good person and you don't even know who this person is, and you still trying to sow a seed of deception in the minds of other people. And it's crazy that, you know, fake people kick it with fake people, you know. So, you know, in the mind of somebody that's dumber, you know, or somebody that's wicked too, would agree with them just to agree with them. You know, you got a lot of people, you know, like that too. You got to be careful. You got to watch out for a lot of these fake people, a lot of these hypocritical people, a lot of these toxic people that indulge in these things just to see it happen, just to see something happen to you. They are very common. So it says, the hypocrite with his mouth destroys his neighbor, but through knowledge the righteous will be delivered. Right? Yeah, and somehow, some way, Yahweh Shem Shai would yet again rescue, his people from adversity. Rescue good people from destruction. And it's the same as the other verse, and the destruction come upon the wicked that try to destroy them. So it says, when it goes well with the righteous, the city rejoices. It says, and when the wicked perish, there is jubilation. It says, by the blessing of the upright, the city is exalted. It says, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. That's what we're dealing with right now. Cities and the way of our living is very, very bad, because we let the wrong people, come into power. They in charge. Very, very bad, very, very messed up. But when the Israelites were in rule in ancient times, which are the righteous people that he's talking about, they were actually very generous. They were actually very kind to the people that were beneath them. The only problem is that we allowed them to come into power. We allowed them to come into our royalty. We allowed them to, gave them control over laws, gave them control over things, and they used it against us. And they destroyed us in turn, So that's why things are the way it is. But the Lord is going to put it back in our favor. So in the next world to come, we will be back in power, and we won't do what we did last time by having mercy on nations that are lower than us. If that's where you are, then that's where you're supposed to be. We can still be kind to them, but at the same time, keep our foot down. This is the limit. I won't allow you to be a part of the royalties anymore. I won't allow you to be a part of the royal court. I won't give you no jobs over no laws, nothing like that. I won't give you no shred of power. Where you at is where you're going to stay at. And that's how it's supposed to be, because that is the order of things. Because we have seen, and we are seeing right now in our time and in our lifetime, the things that are out of order, and it's not right. And it's against us. It's not right. So it says, he who is devoid of wisdom despises his neighbor, but a man of understanding holds his peace. That is true. And a neighbor can go into his brother. It says, he who is devoid of wisdom, you lack knowledge. You don't know certain things, or you don't know this person. You don't know what this person is about. So in turn, you are automatically against him, because you don't know him. It says he is devoid of wisdom, or just having the qualities of being a good person. You make enemies with people that are good people. Wicked people do that. They can just be your enemy just cause they don't know. Just cause. It's retarded, but it's true. So it says, but a man of understanding holds his peace. It says, a talebearer reveals secrets, but he who is of faithful spirit conceals a matter. I've even had that same problem. Just telling people how I feel, or telling people what's going on with me, or telling people certain things that they don't need to know, that they don't need to understand. I've had that problem. I've developed those issues, so I do understand where this is coming from. It says, but he who is faithful who is of a faithful spirit conceals a matter. Right? It's best sometimes that you just don't tell nobody nothing. Anything, because anything can come back on you. Anything could befall you from these people, and sometimes it's learning lessons from those of us that are not, a lot of us aren't perfect people. We go through a lot. We do a lot. A lot of us do bad. A lot of us do good, but it's the fact to learn from these things and to become a better person is what's important. So it says, where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. It ain't no control, There's no leadership going on with the children of Israel. We do have leaders, I do, I follow the New Covenant prophets. Those are the real leaders to me. But as far as I'm concerned with them, they are at the back of the bus. You got the wrong people that are in leadership that are in the front of the bus, and they're not the counsel that the Lord is talking about. So the people continually to fall. It says, but in the multitude of counselors there is safety. We're putting the right people in power and putting the right people in front of us, and allowing them to take the place as leadership, good people that know Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, that's doing it, and they're doing it right, then it would be more stable. But it's a lot of Israelite men that want to be prophets. It's a lot of them that want to be the chosen. It's a lot of them that want to be leaders, and a lot of them be the wrong people, So it's that's why the people fall, They are. We are getting better due to prophecy, but so far as we concerned, it's a lot of these people that still don't believe. A lot of these people that are still confused. A lot of them that are still lost. And it's up to the people that consider themselves leaders of Israel to guide us. They're not doing a pretty good job with that. And they're not even letting the new covenant prophets take charge. Because there's so much money and so much authority involved. What they call it, Moses seat. That's what they call being authority and power and in charge. Moses seat. To have all that power, to have all the authority to command all of these brothers and to tell them what to do, and to have the power of the word in your hands. And making all of this money and all of these people following you and all this clout. It comes with a lot of fame too, and it comes with a lot of power. So it says, he who is sorority for a stranger will suffer, but one who hates being sorority is secure. Sometimes it's not good to be friendly. You can't be friendly to everybody. I done learned this when I was a child. Being friends with grown men that are wicked at heart and just misguideful and just evil, bullies, drug addicts, people that you'll never be able to get through. They would rather take advantage of you. They try to take advantage of you from left to right. You're dealing with a lot of people that are just dishonest, or, whether they be family members or just simply letting somebody into your circle, letting somebody come into your vicinity. Like, for example, you just met somebody and you let them in your house, and, you're just showing them around doing different things. Next thing you know, by the time you let them go and they leave, something came up missing. So things like that, examples like that. You just got to be careful. You got to be strong, got to be headstrong. Sometimes it's not good to have friends at all. So it's not good to trust people at all, because you don't know what these people are capable of. You don't know what they're doing. Now, it's different if you've known this person for years and you know this person to be a good person, but you can't just make friends with somebody and just allow them into your circle, allow them into your vicinity. It just is not safe. It says, but he who hates being sorority is secure. That's right. He who is sorority for a stranger will suffer, but one who hates being sorority is secure. That is true, because you protect yourself. It says, a gracious woman retains honor, but ruthless men retain riches. That's right. Because one of the things that are very honorable for a woman is to be a good woman. And like Yahweh said, when you find it a good woman, you find it a good thing. A good thing. It's a good thing to have a woman on your side that's down for you, regardless of whether you rich or you poor. Things like that. And for a man to retain that honor, to respect that, and to do better, and to be elevated, and to take their woman with them is a great honor. It's great respect. It honors him, and it honors this woman that's with him, because she knew that deep down inside he could be better, and he did do better. And with her encouragement and with her company, it makes it much easier to navigate and to give him more of a stronger reason, even if it's not his own, to prosper and to push forward in the world. That's what women are there for. But nowadays, you're dealing with a lot of women that are in it for materialism. They only appear in situations like this. A lot of women do this. They only appear when you prosper. They only appear after you make it. They're not there during the beginning journey. They're not there through the harsh times. They're not there through the dark times. They're only there when you make it. and it's based off materialism. So it ain't no honor in that, and there's no honor in women that do that, because their honor is not within materialism. It's within having a man and having children. That's the real honor. That's the real happiness. It really is. And if the man do have materialism, that's even better. Make their life even easier, even better. But that's not what attracts the woman to the man. The woman is attracted to the man because of who he is. It's because he is that man, and he do care, and he do love, and he is a good man, and he fights the good fight. That is what's important, rather than be attached to a man because of materialism and because of how much money he got. So yeah, there's that. There ain't no honor in that. So it says, but ruthless men retain riches. That's right. That's right. You got a lot of women too that do date a lot of men that are very wicked, that are very evil, and they getting all of this money, and they taking, they taking it, they cheating for it, they stealing it, they doing everything in their power to get this money, So that one, but ruthless men retain riches. That's right. Men that don't have no honor, men that don't have no respect, men that don't care, and for some reason in this time and age, women are attracted to that. Women are attracted to wicked men. Women are attracted to men that don't care, and all they care about is themselves. And they get the money, they get everything, but guess what? It don't change them. It don't make them a better person. All they care about is they self still. They don't even care about the woman that the women trying to get with them. They don't even care about that. They just care about power. They care about all of these things, all of this materialism, and they let that control their lives. It says the merciful man does good for his own soul. That's right. To have mercy upon others, it does a lot of favor. A lot of favor can be cast upon you from Yahweh. Yeah. It says the wicked man does deceptive work. No, it says, but he who is cruel troubles his own flesh. Right. Because at some point it's going to come back on you. So it says, it says the wicked man does deceptive work, right? And who said that? Like I said, man that don't work don't eat. It ain't easy to do good, and it's not easy to do evil. It's not. It might look easy, but it's not. So it says, but he who sows righteousness will have a sure reward, because you're a good person. So the Lord will reward you in time. It says, as righteousness leads to life, so he who pursues evil pursues it to his own death. That's right, to his own death. You do see a lot of those people that the end result of them corrupting themselves and them falling off, or becoming bankrupt, or losing their careers, or anything that sort of the matter. It really does happen like that. And you be seeing a lot of these dudes that used to be rich and used to be powerful be homeless, and they have nothing, and they be bums. And the places that they was making fun of and the people that they was making fun of switched, and they ended up taking the place of those people. And somehow those people got up and they moved on and they became better. They do this. I think it's like a saying, like you can go broke overnight. You can lose it all in one day. It can really happen like that. You was at the top of the world and you had all the riches and you had everything, and in the blink of an eye, metaphorically speaking, you lost it all, and you homeless, or you used to living inside a 12-bedroom apartment and used to have like at least 2 to 3 cars. And now you and your family is in some sort of old rotted apartment, and or maybe homeless. It really do be like that, And then sometimes you ain't got to be rich and have it all. It's just your indulgence in bad things, making bad choices, being a bad person can get you in those spots. So it says, those who are of perverse heart are an abomination to Yahweh, thinking evil all the time, thinking evil, wickedness all the time. The Lord, Yahweh don't like that. The Lord don't like that. The wickedness and the thoughts of you and you hurting people, the thoughts of you trying to carry out these acts, the thoughts of your hatred, the thoughts of you hating on people, wanting to harm them. The Yahweh don't like that. And it's continually, it's every day you don't think about not a good thing. You got people like that that's walking around like that. They're not a good shred, not a good thought. You just want to hurt people. You're not worried about working on yourself. You're not worried about bettering yourself so you can you don't feel this way, you know. And Lord do give chance, you know. So it's like for some people, they really do think like that. So it says, but it says those who are of a righteous, no, of a perverse heart are an abomination to Yahweh. It says, but the blameless in their ways are His delight. That's right. Staying a good person, being a good person, being a good Israelite is what Yahweh loves. He loves that. He loves good people. Even though, like it's saying, the Bible says, I create light, I create darkness, I make peace, and I make good, and I make evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. He's not wicked. He's not all wicked. He's a good person. He's good. He's overall good, you know. But there is a balance to all this, as you can see in these precepts. It's a balance. So it says, though they join forces, the wicked will not go unpunished. That's right. And that goes for our enemies, and that goes for the wicked people that come against good people, you know. That it do happen like that, you know. Like examples like, you know, three guys against one good guy that's trying to protect somebody in a fight. Next thing you know, it turned out that the good guy that's trying to protect somebody from these muggers or whoever these guys are, or just simple drunk guys coming out of the club, you know, they trying to attack this one guy. Come to find out, the good guy actually got combat skills, and he ended up knocking out all three of these men. You know, simple situations like that. You know, is how it worked. That's how the Lord worked. Though they join forces, the wicked will not go unpunished. You know, it says, but the prosperity of the righteous will be delivered. They're right. That is true. And even in these days to come, that's how it's going to be. They think that they can destroy the chosen. They think that they can shake their belief. They think they can break them and do them harm, you know, in the eyes of Yahweh. And the Lord will have it to where they are delivered, or they can defend themselves when these dark times come. It says, as a ring of gold in a swine's snout, so is a lovely woman who lacks. Oh, dang, he gave it to the women as a ring of gold in a swine snout. And you know, pigs are known for their greed. Pigs are known to wallow in the mud. You know, pigs are known to wallow in their own feces, or to eat anything thrown at them. You know, so is a lovely woman who lacks discretion. That is true. That's a lot of women nowadays. That is a lot of women nowadays. A lot of women are they don't care. They about the way of the world. They bound by their lust. You know, they bound by their freedom, their indulgence. You know, they bound by their beauty, their looks. You know, and they indulge, and they do whatever. They do a lot of the wickedness. They do a lot of harm, you know. And it says, as a ring of gold in a swine's snout. Right. It's like putting gold on pigs, and they're gonna wallow in it. They're gonna destroy it. It's all gonna be muddy and crappy, and you know. And us, a lot of women like that, you know, that's walking around, and you know, a lot of them used to be beautiful, and then they go from being beauty to fat, you know, to overweight, you know. And they still carry that ego. They still carry that pride, because it's like, it's a simple fact, they're a woman, and they got the sexual parts that a man need to satisfy them. So, you know, they gotta, you know, they still put men through the ringer, you know. And you even got women that are not appealing to men, that are not beautiful. They still feel that way too. They got this egotistical mindset to the point to where it's like, I'm a woman, I'm better than you, when it's not true. I mean, that's what they portray. But you know, that's what a lot of women do. They do, you know. So like I said, so is a lovely woman who lacks discretion. That is true. A lot of women that don't respect, a woman that's not knowledgeable, you know, a woman that don't respect men, and that's against them, or even feeling like they better or they can control them, you know, like you said, as a ring of gold in a swine snout. That's a dirty person. Dirty person. The desire of the righteous is only good. Right. Good people think about good intentions for people. but the expectation of the wicked is wrath. Right. The wicked only sow discord and destruction. It's a balance, as you can see. The balance is constantly there. The scales are constantly there. It says, there is one who scatters yet increases more, and there is one who withholds than is right. It says, but it leads to poverty. That's right. There is one who scatters yet increases more, and there is one who withholds more than is right, but leads to poverty. Right. Still go broke, man. Still go rather than a person that invests in certain things or save in certain things. Rather than them do all that, you got people that that get in abundance and they spend it all and they be broke. Rather than a person that's saving here, saving there, putting this up, putting that up, organizing the abundance, organizing the daily bread that the good Yahweh gives them, and they increase. It says there's one who scatters yet increases more. It says, and there is one who withholds more than is right. And simply as investing in people, like not investing in people, but giving, being righteous, being a charity. Sometimes, Yahweh do see that, and you come up more. And it's in more ways than just one. It don't gotta just be about money. It don't have to be just about just money increase and just prosperous. And it's different other currencies in the world, different other things in the world that the Lord created that is more than money. So it's many other different things, but the eyes of a wicked person, materialism is all that matters. Money is all that matters, and in exchange, the Lord gonna bless me with this money. That's all that they worried about, and they don't get no advantage with Yahweh. They get what they want, and then next thing you know, since they're not a good person and they don't care about it, they lose it because they're not grateful. They're not they don't know how to save. They don't know how to take care of themselves. They don't understand none of that because they don't have none of them attributes. They wasn't taught all that. And knowledge is one thing. Knowledge is very key, and that's what a lot of the wicked are lacking. A lot of evil people do lack a lot of knowledge. They do, because they take in what they want to know, and everything else that they don't want to know is discarded. So it says, I'm about to close up after I get to the beginning of chapter 12. It says, it says, but leads to poverty. Like I said, them rich people and all that, and you be thinking that they're going to be rich forever. No, a lot of them do be falling off behind the scenes. A lot of them do be going bankrupt. A lot of them do, because they playing that game, and since they playing that game, you play big, you can win big, or if you play big, you can lose big, such as things when it comes to, corporations, certain jobs and certain things, and certain riches or bills, all kind of stuff, that people deal with, and in turn, when you see their social medias or you see the things that they do, or you get an update, they just make it look like everything is all good. No, it's a price behind all of that. It's a price, and they breaking their backs, they breaking their mindset to try and follow keep up with the Joneses, trying to show the world that they are a great person, keeping everything up to date, overworking themselves to people that might forget them tomorrow, and just looking for an acceptance when you don't have to. You got a lot of people like that, and they breaking themselves backwards to keep up with the ways of the world, to stay in the world's good graces, to stay welcome, to stay invited in, and it's all bound by money and materialism. Without that, nobody will be around you. You got people like that. Compared to a person that live a simple, easy life, they got a cool career, they got the little money, they live in their little life, they got their nice cars, they live within their means, they live within their budget, and it doesn't matter what people think about them. As long as they're taken care of, as long as they're happy, that's what matters, But you got a lot of people like that are just over obsessed with these things, and it's destroying them. So we can keep going. I'm about to close out. It says, and he who waters and he who waters will also be watered himself. That's right. You take care of others, you take care of yourself. Yahweh will bless you, and this water can go into, knowledge of Yahweh Shemel Shai. This water can go into just looking out for somebody, charity, all these good things, good advice, just looking out for people, just caring for people, just being a good person. Um, it says, and he who waters will also be watered himself. The people who curse him will withhold grains. It says, but blessings will be on the head of him who sells it. And that's the people, and sell it for a good price, taking care of people, looking out for them. Like my example. My mom. She done made a lot of mistakes. She was a very bad person, but yet I give chances. Like I said, it's different currencies besides money. Giving chances is a currency. Having mercy is a currency. In a way. And I'll take care of her. My mom's like, you know what, with all the money that you've been looking out for me for, the things that you've been taking care of me when nobody has, I'm gonna pay you back. And I'll tell her, because I love my mom, regardless. I learned about unconditional love too, because Yahweh loves Israel unconditionally. He does love them, even though he got his limits, even though love and hate do go all together. Overall, he does love Israel. Like it says, I change not so that the sons of Jacob are not consumed. That is true. But I've learned that from Yahweh, to love them regardless, even though if you got limits and all of that. And sometimes you might have to just let a person be, but you do love them, you do help them when the time comes to help. And that's what I was like, you know what, Mom, don't worry about it. Don't pay me, you ain't got to pay me back. I just want to see you do better. That's all that I want. And that's it. You give me better and make me happy. Ain't no money gonna make me happy. You doing better and you being a better person will make me happy. And all the money in the world wouldn't compare to where you accomplish what you accomplished, and that will make me happy. Ain't no money gonna make, man, I don't care about that. But things like that, that in the eyes of Yahweh, that's beautiful. Because you realize what's really important. Not, oh, she owed me this and that, and she gonna pay that debt. No, I don't even need it. Lord is taking care of me as is. You take care of yourself. That's all I want to see. That's it. The best out of a person. It says, and blessing will be on the head of him who sells it. That's right. It says, he who earnestly seeks good finds favor. It says, but trouble will come to him who seeks evil. That's right. Sometimes there's a saying to that. You can find what you're looking for. Be careful, because you can find what you're looking for. A lot of them get that work, looking for that work, and they get that work. So for wicked people that find that search for destruction, they search for chaos, they search for trouble, they actually end up finding it, and it don't be for their benefit. It be real bad. It come out real bad. And I don't want to get into all of that, because that's very dark saying. But that's very true, But the balance part is, he who earnestly seeks good finds favor. You're trying to better your life. You're trying to do it the right way. You're trying to do it without taking. You're trying to do it without harming. You're trying to do it without stealing. Your work comes with reward. It does. It does come with rewards. And there's a price behind you doing evil. At some point, it will catch up to you. At some point, it will find you. Or you'll probably find it, and it won't be no good. But there, like I said, balance. If you understand the precepts, it's balance, good and evil, light and dark. And evil don't sound like it's winning. It don't. It just it looks like they're winning. But the latter end to them is more terrible than that for a good person. You ain't even got to be perfect, but the fact that you're a good person and you're doing that you best you can, the Lord see that, And in time, you'll see what happens to the wicked, and then you'll see what happens to good people. So it says, he who trusts in his riches will fall. That's right. But the righteousness will flourish like foliage. That's right. You can't I trust in Yahweh. I don't trust in riches. I don't trust in none of all of that. I don't trust in all of that. I trust in Yahweh. Now, there ain't nothing wrong with having some money. It ain't wrong with having a good amount of money, but don't put all your bets on it. Don't make it seem like money is all the answers to everything. Money is a good defense, but it's not the end all be all. It's other different currencies. There's other different things like blood, like prayers are a currency. Your faith is a currency, and it can allow you to achieve and to buy blessings from Yahweh the Lord give you, and He allow you to buy them. And that's why certain things appear to you, certain things happen to you. Like I said, for example, I didn't have nothing but a pallet when I moved into my apartment, and I didn't have nothing but a pallet and I came up on a couch somebody gave me, you know. Next thing you know, a couple of weeks later, I'm trying to contemplate on how, I'm still looking out for people. I'm still just, being me, being, taking care of what I take care of, and, just being a good person. And lo and behold, everything that I needed fell out of the sky right into my lap. Come to find out somebody was moving, and my people had let me know that they moving and that they're giving away all their stuff, and I took everything that I needed, and voila, within a day, and when I can blink, I was no longer sleeping on the floor. I got a couch in my room like I always wanted, and then I got another couch for my living room, and then I got me a dining set for my dining area, which is not much of a dining area, and I got all of my little tattoo equipment set up because I'm trying to go to school for that, and I got me a whole bedroom, and I'm no longer sleeping on the ground. And my apartment is no longer empty, and it just came, and Yahweh do see that. He does reward for those of them that do good work, and these blessings come in different forms. It ain't always got to come in money. It ain't always got to come with some sort of expensive materialism. It don't work like that. Sometimes the little things go a long way. Sometimes the Lord come when He knows that He's needed. He might not come on your time, but when He knows when to step in. He knows when to interfere. He knows when to take care of you. That's why a lot of people, you get impatient with the Lord. Yeah, it's normal, but at the same time, don't get too impatient, because the Lord will take care of you. You just got to wait on Him. And when He come, sometimes he can come with so many blessings and so much you wouldn't even be prepared for it. Like He said, blessings that are overflowing. So much so you don't even know what to do with everything the Lord just gave you. But enjoy it, because you're a good person, and Yahweh knows that you're a good person. Enjoy it. It's your reward. And it ain't always got to be money. So let me get this out of the way. It says the fruit of the righteousness is a tree of life. That's right. The fruit of the righteousness. The righteousness of the people that are in faith of Yahweh, the righteousness of being a good person and living a good life. It can give you all different kind of possibilities of rewards and blessings that you don't even have. You can't even wrap your mind around. And all of these things could come in your life, will come in your life in time. The things that you, like it says, ask and it shall be given, knock and it shall be open. Is there anything too hard for the Lord? There is nothing impossible for the Lord. And the Lord, it's not hard for the Lord to do, to take care of you. It's not. And when the Lord starts taking care of you, so many different doors and so many different possibilities of blessings that He can open for you, it is hard to wrap your mind around. It can make you go crazy. Like, I can't, this is too much. All this goodness is too much for me. I can't take it, being taken care of like this. I've never felt like this before. To have that relief of coming out of the fire and into the coolness and into a place of rest after a long journey, after going through so much struggle, after going through so much peril, and everything and all of the pain and everything just go away. It just stops. It's over. That feeling right there is, you don't even understand peace. You don't even understand rest, No, to not be disturbed, to not be bothered. That is Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That is the Lord. For you to be taken care of, for you to not have to worry, for everything to be set, for your life to be easy, for your life to be lightweight. You're not carrying nothing, no baggage. You're free. You're straight. You're getting healthier. You're getting better. You're changing. You're not dealing with much challenges like you used to. It's just you don't even know what to do with it. Like, man, I don't even know what to do with myself. I got so much time on my hands. I got so many good things coming in. They just keep coming. Good things just keep happening to me. You wonder why? Because you're a good person. So, and the Lord just keep on blessing. That's how it works. After all of the suffering, after all everything, and the snapping of the Lord's fingers, all of it goes away. And you're like, damn, what happened? Like, I'm not going through nothing. You're so used to going through peril. You're so used to going through darkness. You're so used to going through troubles. You're so used to dealing with certain people. You're so used to dealing with certain things. All of them troubles just nearly vanish. And it's very simple. Off the simplest things. Simple things like having your own space, having your own place. Simple things like having simply a better job that makes things better. You don't have to work so hard. You don't have to go through what you're going through. You can sit down and relax, Simple things like that. Or time. You having more time to do whatever you want to do. You having more time to set things and to build other things. You know, you having time to look out for stuff. Abundance. You got a little bit more money. You could put away money and still spend money. You know, that way it's like, oh, I got a little bit of change. You know, somebody asks you for some change. Oh, here you go. You know, like it's nothing. $2 or $3, $5. You know, it's not hurting you to give to others. It's not. You know, things like that. And the Lord does that. And the simple things and the small things. Most of the time, sometimes that's what matters. You know, instead of the big things. You know, it's the small things that matter. You know, and that's what a lot of us should pay attention to. Hey, he can even bless you with big things like big money. You know, he know exactly what you're gonna do with it. You know, because you're a good person. Big money. He can bless you with big materialism. You know, not that it mattered to you. You know, but that now that you got it, you can do more with it. It opened more doors to possibilities, and you're doing good things for yourself, good things for others. You know, because he knows that you have a good spirit. He knows what you're going to do with it, and that is what the fruit of righteousness is, a tree of life. That's right. Your fruit is getting you a better life. Your fruit is making things better by your works. The Lord blesses you. Ain't nothing free. Ain't nothing free. It says, and he who wins souls is wise. That's right. You got favor with friends. You know, you taking care of people. You know, you're looking out for people. People got good things to say about you. People like being around you. You know, people have respect when you come into the vicinity. Hey, people like conversating. People like your advice, what you got to say. You know, people need help and you will help them. That's what's important. That's how you win people over. That's how you win people favor. You know, people come into you know, certain examples like people wanting to take from you, people wanting to rob you, but then again, somebody step in and they be like, you know what, that person looked out for me. Don't touch him, don't hurt him. And then these people won't hurt him, people won't rob him. And you just happen to walk past and say hi to somebody that you know, and you're not knowing that the rest of his friends is contemplating on taking from you. But since that one person you took care of, they stepped in for you, it's like, nah, not him. He all right. He looked out for me, man. Don't do him like that. And they won't touch you. You know, things like that can, hey, man, you be dodging bullets every day. You know, dodging bullets there, and the Lord be taking care of you. You got that guard around you, around good people, you know. So it says, if the righteous will be recompensed on the earth, how much more the ungodly and the sinner? That's right. The Israelites will be back on top. They'll be all right. The chosen will be taken care of. But how much more is the ungodly and the sinner? How much more? What type of punishment is going to come on those that continue to do evil? You know, what type of destruction is going to come up on those that keep indulging and just want to be sinners? They don't allow the Lord to come into their life. You know, they don't allow Yahweh to work on them. You know, they choose not to go through what they need to go through to become a better person. They don't build. They don't pray. They don't study. They don't even read the Bible. They don't even open it. They don't even keep the Lord on their mind. Things like that. They don't want to be a good person. They don't like helping, you know, their brothers. They like to see people down. They don't give money to the poor, you know, simply by somebody just asking for $1 or, you know, seeing somebody down and out and, you know, going to go drop them off some water or some food or something like that. Just, you know, on a fly, or giving them some money to make them take care of themselves, whether they do or not. You know, it's just the thought that matters. But how much more? You know, what type of destruction is going to befall the wicked? We will see. You know, Yahweh willing, we will see. And with that, calling Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, by Shem Rakak Wadash, in the name Yahweh Shai, this is the end of good sayings. You know, it got the good and the bad, but ultimately they are good sayings and what you can get out of them and how you can navigate in your daily life. And with that, shalom. To whoever's listening, much love to you. And I hope, you know, that this can help a lot of you know, a lot of y'all out there, whoever's listening, you know, this is for you, you know. But you know, much love, much blessings, and I'm on to the next.